The South China Sea is one of the world's most critical and strategic maritime thoroughfares. Trillions of dollars in goods pass through these sea lanes every year, making the region absolutely vital for global trade. Control over these waters means influence over international commerce and the stability of global supply chains worldwide. But this vital waterway is also a scene of intense geopolitical competition and rivalry. Several countries, China, Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei, and Taiwan, have overlapping territorial claims here. The discovery of oil and gas reserves has only intensified these rivalries and disputes. China's expansive claims, marked by its controversial 9-dash line, are the most significant source of tension. To enforce its claims, China has built artificial islands and militarized them, dramatically altering the region's strategic landscape. This has created a modern-day powder keg, where the risk of miscalculation is extremely high. Encounters between naval and Coast Guard vessels are becoming more frequent and increasingly tense. A small incident could quickly escalate, potentially drawing in major powers like the United States and its allies. The world watches with concern, knowing the future of the South China Sea has global implications for everyone. The stakes here are nothing less than peace, security, and the rule of international law. The BRP Sierra Madre began its journey as the USS Harnett County, a U.S. Navy tank landing ship that saw action during World War II. After serving in multiple conflicts across decades, it was eventually transferred to the Republic of Vietnam Navy, then made a daring escape to the Philippines after the fall of Saigon. Renamed the BRP Sierra Madre, it became a Philippine naval asset, reflecting the region's shifting alliances and turbulent history. Today, the Sierra Madre is a rusting, decaying hulk, barely recognizable as the proud warship it once was in its prime. Its hull is riddled with holes, decks collapsing, battered relentlessly by sun, salt, and the harsh elements. Yet this relic holds immense strategic and symbolic importance for the Philippines and its people. It's a physical manifestation of Manila's claim to a remote, contested reef in the South China Sea. The ship now serves as a permanent military outpost, manned by a small, determined detachment of Philippine Marines. Their mission: guard the shoal against foreign encroachment and protect Philippine interests. The Sierra Madre's dilapidated state is a stark reminder of the asymmetric nature of the ongoing dispute. With limited resources, the Philippines uses this decaying vessel to stand up to a rising superpower in the region. The ship is no longer just a vessel, it's a powerful symbol of national sovereignty and defiance. Against overwhelming odds, the Sierra Madre endures, weathering storms and standing firm. In 1999, the Philippines made a bold move, intentionally grounding the aging Sierra Madre on Ayungin Shoal, also known as Second Thomas Shoal. This submerged reef lies within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. The grounding was a direct response to China's occupation of nearby Mischief Reef. By placing a commissioned naval vessel on the shoal, Manila asserted its sovereign rights without firing a shot. Officially, the ship ran aground by accident, a diplomatic fiction that provides cover for its continued presence. The Sierra Madre became a de facto military installation, a permanent fixture in disputed waters. Ayungin Shoal is strategically significant, sitting astride key access routes in the Spratlys. Control here would give China a major advantage, creating a choke point in the region. For the Philippines, holding the shoal is crucial for maintaining its foothold and protecting its economic zone. The grounding turned an obsolete ship into a strategic asset, a masterstroke of asymmetric strategy. This single act set the stage for the tense standoff that continues today. Life for the Philippine Marines on the Sierra Madre is a true test of endurance, resilience, and unwavering patriotism. A small detachment lives on the decaying vessel for months at a time, exposed to the harsh elements and isolated from the outside world. Fresh water and food are precious lifelines, delivered by daring resupply missions that must run a gauntlet of Chinese vessels. The Marines' morale remains high. They know their presence is a frontline defense of national sovereignty and pride. Their daily routine is a mix of strict military discipline and survival, maintaining equipment, fishing, and keeping constant watch. Resupply missions have become flashpoints, with Chinese Coast Guard vessels frequently harassing and blocking Philippine boats. Each mission is a high-stakes drama, a tense test of wills between two determined nations. The success or failure of these missions directly impacts the Marines' well-being and the outpost's continued survival. The image of the rusting ship, with the Philippine flag flying proudly, has become a powerful national symbol. For many, the Sierra Madre and its marines truly embody the spirit of David versus Goliath. The ship is more than just a military outpost, it's a rallying cry for the defense of Philippine maritime territory. Against all odds, the Marines endure, holding the line for their country. While President Marcos Jr. has set a red line, his administration also uses strategic ambiguity. The government hasn't defined what lesser actions might trigger a military response or treaty invocation. This calculated vagueness keeps Beijing guessing and deters calibrated aggression. By not revealing its exact response, the Philippines retains flexibility and forces China to consider a range of consequences. Strategic ambiguity is a tool for weaker states to manage conflicts with stronger adversaries. The Philippines also employs assertive transparency, publicizing China's aggressive actions to build international support. Videos and photos of Chinese vessels harassing supply boats expose Beijing's tactics to the world. This dual approach, clarity on the ultimate red line, ambiguity on lesser provocations, gives Manila room to maneuver. It's a sophisticated strategy to deter escalation while avoiding catastrophic war. In the South China Sea, diplomacy is a tightrope walk. China has mastered gray zone tactics, coercive actions that stop short of open war. Instead of its navy, China uses its coast guard and maritime militia, often disguised as fishing boats, to enforce its claims. These vessels swarm contested areas, block Filipino fishermen, and harass resupply missions to the Sierra Madre. The most visible tactic: powerful water cannons against Philippine supply boats. The goal is to make the outpost untenable, hoping Manila will eventually abandon it. This is a strategy of attrition, a slow-motion blockade to wear down Philippine resolve. Gray zone tactics exploit legal ambiguity, making it unclear if the mutual defense treaty would be triggered. China constantly tests the limits, emboldened by each successful operation. It's a salami-slicing strategy, changing the status quo one small incident at a time. The pressure is relentless, and the stakes keep rising. The ultimate gray zone move would be for China to tow away the BRP Sierra Madre. This would be a dramatic escalation, a direct challenge to Philippine sovereignty, even if no shots are fired. Such an act would cross Manila's red line, short of causing fatalities. The consequences would be severe: a major diplomatic crisis, immense domestic pressure on Manila, and a test of the Mutual Defense Treaty. The Marines aboard are unlikely to surrender, raising the risk of armed clashes and rapid escalation. Towing away the ship is a high-risk gamble for Beijing. Success would grant control of the shoal, but failure could trigger regional conflict. It would also test American security guarantees and could backfire, solidifying anti-China sentiment in Southeast Asia. The Sierra Madre is a tripwire. Removing it could ignite a much larger crisis. The world would be forced to respond. For now, the rusting hulk remains, a fragile but potent symbol. The risk of miscalculation is ever present. The next move could change the balance in the South China Sea. The standoff at Ayungin Shoal is more than a bilateral dispute. It has global implications. If China forces the Philippines to abandon the Sierra Madre, it sends a message that resistance is futile and international law is powerless. This could trigger an arms race, push Southeast Asian nations closer to the US, or force them to accommodate Beijing. The cohesion of ASEAN would be tested, as member states adopt different strategies. At stake is the principle of a rules-based international order. The 2016 Arbitral Tribunal ruling invalidated China's 9-dash line, but Beijing rejects it. If China seizes the shoal, it's another blow to the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. The fate of the Sierra Madre is a test case for maritime governance and the future of the Indo-Pacific. The outcome will ripple far beyond these contested waters.